evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Raising Excellence, one of the most valuable hours of your day. Today's show, we're going to talk about what is your spiritual diet. But before we get into that topic, let's talk to our other host today. Our first is Agnieszka. Oh, yeah, Agnieszka, our psychosomatic illuminator,
That's me. Yay. Hi.
and our trauma consultant, Willow.
Hi, everyone.
If you are viewing live and you would like to make a comment or ask a question, feel free to. You can just simply type it into those comments areas. And with that said, let me turn it over to Willow and let's get started because we've got a lot to do.
Yes, we do. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Raising Excellence for the second week of Trauma Uncovered. It's been a long 2 weeks. This is heavy stuff.
I
So
was waving
appreciate it.
hi to Kelly because she said hi, so it's like hi.
Oh, okay. Hi, Kelly. Actually, it's nice to know. It's nice to get to know people in our audience. So the concept that I want to explore tonight is your spiritual diet and how to create new themes or patterns in your life. So this is going to kind of connect back to the first episode, how to incorporate that into your spiritual diet, because all of these patterns, uh, this is basically what your spiritual diet is what are you feeding your spirit? What things in your life make you feel alive and worth doing things, because that's where your motivation comes from, uh, and that's where you get the most done. And I guess I'm searching for a word, like the most fulfillment in life. When you do things, it's not work anymore. It can be actually enjoyment, and that's the first step in training your brain to enjoy learning new things, which was beaten out of us in school. So, um, yeah, that was I was gonna start out with defining your spiritual diet, and that's what it was. For the rest of the time, I wanted to talk about discussing methods of
So,
improving your spiritual diet. So the first one I wanted to touch on, and I think it's probably one of my favorite and the most important aspects, something that you really need to incorporate, I believe, into your spiritual diet, is to get some sunlight. And it sounds like such an easy thing to do, but I also wanted to add in there, I personally like to go barefoot, and a lot of people just call it grounding. It's the same thing. Uh, but yeah, getting some sunlight and being outside, feeling the wind on your skin, how cold it is, or listening to the trees, and actually physically grounding your body. It I'm not even sure what it does. I just know that it works.
well,
I
apparently, what it does is it removes free radicals from your body and allows your body to like your cells to have a better vibration.
see I've also heard that it recharges your electromagnetic fields and allows them to like flow properly. But again, that's I haven't done as much research as there. I mean, there's so much research to go through that I haven't come to a conclusion that I feel comfortable explaining. Like, oh, this is how this works. But I do know that it works.
Yeah,
I practice it myself.
I think there's quite a few articles out there if anybody wanted to Google like living in nature, closer to nature, what the benefits of that are. I think you'd find a great deal of stuff. The same with grounding and meditating. They're super beneficial.
Yeah, I find that like I feel so much better when even if I sit on the beach and just like sitting on the on the sand, or sitting by the bonfire with my feet on the ground, it just feels so. Even living in a wooden house, it feels much more grounding.
Nature in general. Sunlight is usually just the first thing that comes to mind because it's, for me, it's the most relaxing. Uh, I will fall asleep in a car no matter what if there's sunlight on my face. It's like a
Even if
warm
you're
blanket.
driving.
Um, I can't like close my eyes. Like if I'm at a red light and I feel the sun like beating down on my face, I cannot lay my head back and close my eyes. It's very dangerous. I could easily fall asleep. But if I'm riding passenger, no, there's no chance for me. I'm out. Uh, Also, I've had it take away headaches. I'd have like it felt like a sinus headache where it was just like all right here, and it almost felt like I had snorted chlorine water. You know how when you go in a pool and it gets up your nose and it like hurts way up here. Um, that's what I was feeling, and I went outside and I just closed my eyes and let the sunlight literally just like where I could feel it on my eyes, where it's just heating up my entire face. And within like 10 minutes, my headache was severely reduced. That's not the right wording.
Dramatically reduced.
And also my emotional, the dysregulated state. Sometimes I will wake up and I feel very numb and I don't recognize it. But I will recognize it by the fact that I feel sluggish. I don't feel like I'm fully awake, even though I'm up and moving around and had about a cup of coffee.
Freudian slip there? 4 cups
Well,
of coffee?
well, I think I drink more coffee than I do because I drink it all times of the day. I'm actually drinking coffee now. So, but I can't handle 4 cups of coffee. I'll be going to the bathroom every 10 seconds for the next 6 hours. It's terrible. What was I saying? Having the dysregulated states and feeling kind of numb, going outside and just sitting in a lawn chair and letting my body recharge with sunlight. It's comparative to a good nap. And I don't do well with naps. I usually just take a nap and then I wake up and I'm like, what year is it?
That sounds like you're waking up at the wrong time in the REM cycle, because if you wake up at the end of the 90 minutes, you'll be refreshed. But if you wake up at like 40 minutes or something, you could be just like, I can't see.
And
I can't
that's
see.
why I actually don't take naps. If it's the 45-minute mark is about as far as I can go before I actually get into like really deep sleep and I get really disoriented. But I usually take a 90-minute nap, or I try not to take a nap at all, because
Exactly.
even when I take a 90-minute nap, the problem is with narcolepsy, I jump into REM sleep within 5 minutes of going to sleep. So
I'd consider that a positive.
not when you're trying to rest and recover.
So
So
that isn't a restful sleep then?
no, REM is a dream state. REM is when your subconscious is acting out dreams. Your body has paralyzed itself to keep from acting out the dreams. And you are supposed to be unconscious. You're not supposed to be aware or awake. And I am. I don't have regular dreams. I only lucid dream. So it literally feels like when I go to sleep, either I will not remember most of it and it'll just be like foggy. Like I literally will just see fog in my mind. Or it feels like I just took acid and I dropped into Wonderland for the last 8 to 12 hours. No matter how, like actually the longer I sleep, the worse it gets. Where my body has just been like, oh no, you're not getting any sleep. You're just constantly going into REM and stressing your body out without getting any rest.
Yeah.
Sleep is very, very important. You need all 4 stages.
What are the 4 stages of sleep?
So I believe it's light sleep, and then I know there's light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, and I can't remember the third. Restful?
Look it up.
I think it's restful.
4 stages of sleep.
Yeah.
We're
I should
doing
know
it
this.
live.
Amen.
I feel like a bad narcoleptic. I really should know this because I talk to people all the time, but right now I'm not
Sure,
recalling.
you have narcolepsy, right? Mm-hmm.
I do. It's in
Oh,
my
look
mind.
at that. Kelly comes to rescue Delta Theta REM. But that's
Oh,
still
okay.
3,
Wow.
not 4, Kelly. She was talking about 4.
Let's see. the, I don't know what the heck this is. Non-rapid eye movement, NREM, then rapid eye movement, REM.
REM sleep is rapid eye movement because that's when
So
your eyes are flicking back and forth.
it says there's like three non-REM
Yes.
stages, an REM stage, but it doesn't tell me what, what on this particular thing. Oh well.
No worries.
There's either one in between light and not in between light and deep. There's either one before light and deep that I am forgetting, or one in between deep and REM that I'm forgetting. And I can't remember which order it's in. But that's actually neither here nor there for the actual
Returning to the original
conversation.
programming, what is it that we're talking about today? What's your spiritual diet? Well, I guess sleep is a part of spiritual diet. Walking outside, grounding is a spiritual diet. What else do you have on your list there, Miss?
Well, actually, the sleep thing ties in with my next part pretty well. So the next one is a combination of two or three different aspects, and they all pertain to your environment, like your physical environment, the things that you can move. Um, my pictures on the wall where I work, and the writing, writing mantras and keeping them where you can see them. All of this is like what I'm talking about. But I use this when I sleep a lot because part of the thing with narcolepsy is I often have hallucinations when I wake up and go to sleep. And that's really bad when you like to hang your robe on the back of the door and then you wake your husband up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a creepy message of there is a man standing in our doorway. It's happened. It has happened. What creeped me out was the fact that I handled it so like calmly. I'm like, dude, there's a guy in our doorway right now. He didn't like it so much. He was really freaked out for a second. But I treat my bedroom like a safe place. And I used to do this with my dog because he had his kennel that he'd run to. And if you reached inside that kennel, he'd bite you. He'd bite me. He's never bit me before. And I made sure that no matter who was in the house, dog, cat, person, that they knew that was his space. That was his safe place, and you weren't going to go in it. You weren't going to mess with it. He was safe there. And then I applied that to myself, and I started making my room my place where like I have all of my stuff and what makes me feel comfortable, the most comfortable. And that included changing like the color. This is and having things like candles always freaked me out because I was always worried I was going to burn something down. But I have like aromatherapy stuff, so smells and music, colors. You can really make your own space feel comforting. So it can be a soothing signal where when you're really stressed out, you know that you can go grab your favorite red blanket, curl up in it, you know. Um,
Well, I tell you, that's essentially all these things that you're mentioning are how I've set up my house. So my house is actually kind of it sets so that as the sun comes up in the summertime, it kind of uses the canopy of the jungle so that the house stays in the shade during the whole time. But of course, like the pool and the deck area, which is kind of my living room, is outside, and so living here in Acapulco, the temperature outside is pretty much always the same, so it's like 78 degrees, 80 degrees, pretty much all year long. In the summertime, it's a little hotter and a little more humid, but I live up on a mountain, so it's uh, you know relatively cool, and we get it like a breeze, and then colors. Uh, my favorite colors are like navy blue and orange, and practically every day I get to see like the navy blue ocean, and then at the end of the day the sunset is like this orange sky, and of course you get it in the morning time too. So uh, but then I also like I play music. I play like this flamenco guitar, Spanish guitar music, when people come over, and it's just this real chill, environment that everybody loves, you know.
Do
And
you
so
play
it's
yourself, or do you have like play it on a?
no, I have like a big speaker that I play, you know, I put out a tune, you know, like a, I don't know, a 6 hour, you know, loop or whatever. But you know, it's just like I set the stage. It's like my, you know, for me, it's like my PowerPoint. You know, I mean, I'm just sitting on top of like my throne or whatever you want to call it. But to me, it's just it combines all these things. And let me tell you, I used to be such a freaking high strung, you know, just go, go, go. Everything has got to be on time. I'm like pushing everybody all the time. You know, I'm calling people up. Is it done yet? You know, all this kind of stuff. And today, shoot, man, I'm just like completely, like totally relaxed from that, you know. So you know, it's really effective.
I am really surprised to hear that because I never would have guessed. And I like to pride myself on the fact that like when I meet someone, I can generally see like what they're about. Like I'm a little intuitive in that way, but I never would have guessed that you were high strung and like that kind of person because and oh, me and Agnieszka, we're both Sagittarius, so we'll go at each other.
Mhm.
And it's hilarious to see like we'll just be like throwing shit back at each other, having our little arguments